Menopausal and perimenopausal women, listen up. It's time to take control of your health and comfort, and Winona is here to help. Winona is a telemedicine company for menopause care who believes that your symptoms are real, important, and deserve to be taken seriously. And for many women, this starts with hormone replacement therapy. Winona's HRT is made with plant-based, bioidentical hormones rather than synthetic ones, so it better aligns with your body to offer relief from hot flashes, weight gain, and other uncomfortable symptoms. 80% of women who use Winona find relief within just 90 days. So, what are you waiting for? Get started today. Visit buywinona.com today to start your free visit. With free shipping and the ability to pause or cancel at any time, your path to wellness has zero obligations. Use code SPRING24 at buywinona.com for 25% off your first treatment plan. That's BYWINONA.com for 25% off. Winona. Menopause care made easy. Summer is the season of hot temperatures, outdoor adventures, and refreshing water activities. Summer is also the season of rough on your feet, causing dry, cracked heels and toes. Introducing Babyfoot, the original exfoliation foot peel that contains 16 natural extracts formulated to remove dead skin cells in 3 easy steps. Apply the booties, relax for an hour, then wash your feet. In 14 days, you've got baby smooth skin and your feet have never been softer. Letting dead skin cells build up over time is hazardous to your foot health. Our professional-grade DIY products, like our original exfoliation foot peel, our men's foot peel, or our moisturizing mask, are some of the best foot care products on the market, created with your foot health in mind. Pamper yourself with a spa day from the comfort and convenience of your own home with Babyfoot. If you want a chemical-free, easy-to-use exfoliating process from the company that created the original foot peel, it's time to treat yourself to Babyfoot. Go to babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24 and get 20% off your first order with Babyfoot. That's babyfoot.com and use the code SUMMERFEET24.
Hello and welcome to Too Stupid to Live, or today it could be called Tooth Stupid to Live. Oh man, you guys, starting off with a bang here. Okay, anyway, this is a podcast that reviews romance novels $5 and under. I'm your host, Becky Feldman, and today's episode is a total treat, and it's not one that will give you cavities. Oh my God, you guys. So my guest today wrote a romance novel about dental students, and I don't know why now I'm just like, yeah, nice dental puns. Oh man. The show didn't even start already, and I can hear you rolling your eyes. Listen, I get it. But my guest today is the wonderful author Mazey Eddings, whose new contemporary romance, A Brush with Love, is now available for pre-order. And if you're a romance reader, you probably know this, but when you read a book that you love so much and you want everyone to read it, and then you it's to the point where you grab people and you start shaking them and you're like, just read this book, just read this book. That is A Brush with Love. I loved this book so much. And in addition to talking about it, Mazey and I are also reviewing Tessa Dare's Beauty and the Blacksmith, which is currently $2.99. Or is it tooth dollars? Oh my God. Listen, I promise there are no more bad dental puns from here on out. What I'm saying, they're not even puns. I'm not even saying puns. They're what I'm saying isn't even good enough to be puns. But listen, it's over now. We're going to start the show and you are going to love it. So please enjoy this review of Beauty and the Blacksmith. Okay, Mazey, welcome
Hi.
to
I already messed up.
I know. Okay, here's the thing. I am always so awkward, in the beginning. When I first started doing podcasts, I was like, hi, welcome to da-da-da. And I didn't give a chance to the guest to be like, hey, yeah, I'm here too.
I'm so sorry. Okay. Let's take it from the top.
Okay, back from top. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be a professional interviewer. I can do this. I can't do this. Okay. Mazey, welcome to Too Stupid to Live.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I am so excited for you to be here. I finished A Brush with Love. I loved it so much. I felt okay, so we were goofing around but the first thing I wanted to say to you was thank you for writing this book. I'm going to get into it as someone with anxiety and depression. Thank you for writing this book. I feel like I went from like fun to like, let's get serious, but I had to say it. It was just like on the top of my head.
Thank you. That means so much to me. It was scary to like kind of go there with those feelings and everything. And so hearing that it resonates means just the absolute world to me. So
good. So let's take a step back a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You have such an like interesting like life. You do. And I know, I mean, I think you do. So can you like tell us a little bit about you? Like you were born and then what happened?
I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, and and I'm a Gemini, so I think those two things tell you everything you need to know.
Great, yeah.
No, yeah, I grew up in Cleveland, and then I went to high school out in Los Angeles, and then moved to North Carolina for college. I went to UNC Asheville. So I'm just giving you my CV, I guess. And then, but I've always just been a huge reader and like dabbled with writing, but I never thought like I had what it took or anything like that. And I was always kind of science minded. So I thought I wanted to do something in medicine. And then this is a tangent, and I apologize if I offend anybody's sensibilities, but like I shadowed a family physician, and the very first patient that we saw together, the doctor whipped out like a jumbo size thing of KY lube and like put it on the counter to then do like a rectal exam. And I was like, I just don't know that this is for me. Like I'm just like spitballing here, but I'm thinking this isn't the right fit. And then I found dentistry and fell in love with it. And then I moved up to Philadelphia for dental school. And then I had a massive existential crisis and like quarter life crisis, as one does. And I wrote a book during dental school in all my free time. So the book is A Brush with Love. And it chronicles two dental students. And now I'm writing more books, and I'm about to graduate in May. And yeah, I think that's about it. I have 2 cats. Oh, that's really important. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
My cat's names are Yaya and Zadie. And I was talking to a marketing person, and they were like, so we did an evaluation of your brand, and it seems like it's mainly cats. And I was like, it seems like you know what you're talking about, because that's 100% true.
That's great. I mean, like, I feel like I've seen your brand. It's mainly cats. You don't need to do anything else. You're perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I think I could build an empire off of their faces.
Absolutely.
They're just like,
yeah. No, that's great. It's so funny because like reading the book, and it's about 2 dental students, and just like, obviously, like, I know it's inspired by your life. Dental school seems so high stakes, and so you're busy all the time. And I'm like, the main character, she does so much work and she's so motivated. And then I'm like, okay, how did you find time to write a book on top of all that?
Yeah, I think that's like the question I get asked the most.
Sure, I'm sure. Yeah.
And I think like, I really just didn't sleep a lot. Like, so mainly because I was having such bad insomnia and anxiety, and like, I was a wreck my first year. Like dental school, I think, like, I feel like dentists kind of get a bad rap where it's like, oh, they're just a dentist, and like, I get that and everything, but I think what's hard is we have to do the same med school curriculum, but at the same time we're doing all of the clinical stuff, and so like, and treating patients and everything, so we're doing the whole body and learning about that, but then we don't automatically have a residency afterwards, so that's where there's kind of like that difference. But yeah, that first year I was just like so stressed. My anxiety was so bad. I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder when I was 12. So it's something I've always dealt with, but this was the worst it ever had been. And so when I couldn't sleep, I was either reading romance or I was just writing, and I was kind of exploring what a character would look like if she had the passion that I felt like I was missing at the time. And so, because that's the other question I get asked a lot of, is if it like, is it based on my life? And it's really not. Like, the anxiety disorder is definitely inspired, and the setting I brought to that, but like, their story is completely unique to themselves, just because I wanted to play with that and kind of see what it was like for somebody to have that passion that I was missing, and then somebody else to lack that, and like choices that you make in that process. Oh, and then I wrote during a lot of lectures too, which I probably shouldn't admit, but I was like, I was like in the back of like an endo lecture, just like typing away furiously. And somebody leaned over and they're like, dude, are you taking notes? Like, are those all notes? Like, that's a little aggressive. I'm like, oh no, I'm not taking notes.
That's amazing. Because I feel like it's like at the most inopportune times, like that's when you get like your most like, you know, the inspiring ideas where you're like, oh, I got to write this down. And even though you're like performing surgery.
Yeah. Like my notes app on my phone was just like loaded with the most random sentences. And when I would finally fall asleep, you know, at like 4 a.m, I would wake up with an idea and I had like gibberish written in there for that too. But like, I do agree with you. The best ideas I think come when you're not supposed to be thinking about them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great that like, you know, just getting into you wanting to write characters that you say lacked the passion that you had, because in the end of your book, you wrote that writing this book saved me. And I was curious if you wanted to kind of just like expand on that. Like, does that have to do with the lack of passion in your characters or lack of passion in yourself that you wrote through your characters? Like, was that healing for you?
It was extremely healing. I think what was like the best way to describe it is like I felt very out of control of a lot of elements in my life. I was really, really far away from home for the first time, living in a brand new city. I was dealing with a super intense curriculum, and then also dealing with patients and having to learn how to kind of like emotionally separate myself from like their medical needs, but the things that I want to give them, and just like my limitations as a person. And so it was hard. And I was hit with depression really bad. I was hit with anxiety. And I was just feeling like very lost. And so having a creative outlet and something that I could, you know, play with, and it felt like playing and like giving my brain the freedom to do fun things. And so, yeah, in so many ways, it really did save me. Like, it helped me find just more inner peace and more self-guided purpose, and like such a passion for writing and everything like that. But then I also think that it kind of redirected me on my path that like, yes, I do want to finish this curriculum. I do want to become a dentist and like help patients and everything. Yeah, it was just a very, I'm so grateful for the experience. And like, even if nothing had come of it, you know, with it getting an agent or getting picked up for a pub, like I knew while working on it that it was just like a very healing process.
That's so great. Cause like, you know, I kind of experienced the same thing when I first went to college. I was like a mess. It was when I was diagnosed and started taking medication. And like, I totally understand like the need to find like something to kind of like tether onto, because just you feel like your whole life is just like out of control.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So I love how like this book like really ignited your passion for writing, also for dentistry, because on your website it says making dentistry sexy. I love it.
I mean, it's like it really is impossible. Okay, I will say this though. Dentists are a very like good looking group of people. I feel like
yeah. I have a very pretty dentist.
Yes. And I don't know what it is, but it's like, it's something I've observed, but it's like such an unsexy profession. Like your like fingers are in the mouth and stuff, but just in like a very not cool way.
Right. Yeah. It's the most unsexy finger mouth like, connection.
And honestly, unless you're in like, or watching Grey's Anatomy, like scrubs are not attractive. Like they're, you know, they're not a great look. Like it takes a very specific physique to like work it. So yeah, I do feel like I thought, you know, it was kind of an impossible task, because even when I was like pitching the idea, people were like, dentistry, like no, I don't think that's going to be very romantic. And it's not, but there's lots of oral puns. So there's that.
Love it. You know, it's so funny because like my old dentist, he like ran his practice and his wife was the hygienist and like, and so I guess they won this award that was like cutest couple in like California
Oh my God.
Association or something. There's like a little picture of that.
Oh my God, that I want to write like fanfic about that. That's the cutest thing.
Yeah. It's so cute. Yeah.
That's precious.
I think like another thing that like stood out in your book was the amount of sexism that Harper, the main character, experiences. Like it was like there's one scene where, you know, the patient that she's with assumes that the person who is still in school that she is mentoring is actually the doctor. And I was like, okay, did Mazey experience that or like something similar?
Yeah, I've had patients that like when I walk into the operatory, they're like, oh no, I want to see a man. Yeah,
I've really said that. Like, I want to see a man. Oh my God.
Yeah, and so I had to comply. Like I wouldn't treat that, or I wasn't allowed to treat them. I tried to have a discussion about it, but it was like, okay, and they were transferred to a man. And then, you know, I've had like, there's a lot of faculty that will say really inappropriate things. There's like a lot of sexism in that sense. I was on a job interview not that long ago for like a position once I graduate. And the person said to me, they were like, you know, I was hesitant to interview you because you're a woman. And I was like, what? And they were like, well, you know, the track record with women, they get out of dental school, they practice for a couple years, get married, have kids, and never, you know, pick up a handpiece again. And I was just like, oh, like, I mean, it obviously ended right there because I was like, this is not a good idea. No fucking thanks. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like there have been residents that said to like, you know, people that I know, like, oh, it probably helped that you look so fuckable during interviews to get in. Yeah, like it's, I think it's sexism is so like rampant in so many fields. I guess I just wasn't expecting it as much as I've like experienced and heard other women experience too. And so, yeah, I was really I was really airing out some grievances through Harper's experience.
Because it's really, really shocking how blunt it is. Like, I feel like, you know, in some of the experiences people maybe are talking about now, and I could be wrong. I'm just talking from like my own bubble of like, it's more subtextual, it's more microaggressive. And to like have someone be so blunt of saying, oh, you're only getting the shot because you're fuckable, or like, oh, just like stating these like, you know, really terrible stereotypes and archetypes. Like it feels, it's so textbook, it's shocking, you know?
I know, I completely agree. And like, I that was something I thought about too. I was like, I'm not even sure that this when you're reading it will seem believable because it was so grossly offensive. And I'm just like, I can't believe in this day and age, like people can actually form those words and say them out loud and like not think any, like, I don't know if they don't care that there's stuff wrong with it, but like, yeah, it's been pretty eye-opening. And yeah, I just have like a very strong feminist rage inside of me, just boiling over.
I felt it. I mean, like when a patient does like transfer to a male doctor, like that's the thing that's so infuriating too, is that like, here's a piece of shit. Sorry, I'm sure they're great people. No, they're terrible. But like, here's a piece of shit who got what they want. And like, that to me is just like, even from like this like petty childish, like part of my personality that's aside from being like a feminist, it's so enraging.
I know it does. It makes me like, they totally win in that situation, you know, like there's no lessons learned, like there's no conversations had, there's no growth. It's just like, you know, and yeah, it sucks. It's a really shitty feeling.
Yeah. But like what's great about in the book is that like Harper does have this professor that's on her side, both like with what she's going through emotionally and being female. Like, do you feel like there's like a community of like female or just like non-cis male like dental students, dentists, anyone who works in dentistry that like you guys, you know, kind of feel like you have like some sort of like communal experience?
I would say I've definitely, like, all of my friends in the program I've had these conversations with, and like there's almost like a sense of camaraderie and how similar a lot of our experiences are. I think that I didn't necessarily experience that kind of mentorship or like guidance from, you know, somebody that's ahead of me or in charge of me or something like that. But I do feel like, so that part of it did almost feel like fantasy. Like, what would it look like to feel really supported when something like that happens? And just have somebody that like automatically knows or handles the situation in a way that like empowers the victim and, you know, kind of puts the perpetrator in their place and stuff like that. But I feel very strongly that the people like my age and, you know, classes recently graduated and one's coming, just have a really different outlook on just human interaction in general. And so I do feel really hopeful that like there's going to be a big shift and like change for the good and stuff like that. And so then there will be a lot more Dr. Wrens out there. Dr. Wren is Harper's mentor.
Yeah. You know, just talking about her, Dr. Wren as a character, I think like just from based on like my life, the part of the book where my heart just dropped was when Harper sleeps in and misses her exam, because like I feel like in my life, like I had so much anxiety, but like part of it was just like getting the report card and seeing all A's. Not that I got all A's, but like you know, but like when I would see a B or a C, like I would freak out, and I got them a lot. And so whenever like I would like miss an assignment or sleep in or just forget to bring something in, that was like the worst crisis of my life, even though looking back really doesn't matter. And so, but like what I loved was that Dr. Wren was so understanding, because like I don't think that I experienced a teacher or professor who probably showed that amount of sympathy. And it was just like, yes, like schools need to be like that. People need to be like that, more accepting of like neurodiverse people in this world.
I completely agree. And I think it's funny because there is such like an experience of growing up and going through school and everything where a bad grade is just so devastating and like your world revolves around it. And it really is so encompassing. And I don't think it's hard to understand like the obsession of it if you don't experience that. But it's like, it's so I did want to convey that in the book. But I do think that there's, you know, teachers are under so much stress right now and everything, but I do think that I'm hoping that there's going to be like, you know, changes where just neurodiverse students' experiences can be eased a bit in these like, you know, systems, and because education isn't one size fits all. And so, you know, having grace for forgetting to do something, or just even giving somebody the benefit of the doubt. Like, I think that there's a lot of automatic assumption that if like you forget to do something or you oversleep, you did it on purpose. You know, or like you had a bad intent, whereas like life just happens sometimes, and like you can't be on the ball all the time. And so just giving people grace and opportunities to make things up and stuff.
And also like it felt like in the plot, you know, Harper's heartbreak, like this was like probably, you know, getting her to her lowest possible moment. And it makes you as a reader think like, oh, like I know there's a happily ever after, like that's romances, but then it's just like, oh, how is she going to justify getting back together, you know, with Dan? Like it really felt like, you know, because just from my experience, like it would just be like give up and you know,
I do think like we live in a world where I think a lot of people, or maybe it's just people with anxiety or things like that, where it's like you feel like you can't have that balance of things that like make you happy and feel calm, but then also work really hard and do well in, you know, career choices or things like that. Yeah, and so that was a pretty devastating part to write too, because I was like, my poor girl, like she's she's very lost right now. And I, you know, that was another thing that I witnessed too, like a lot of people in my program and talking to friends at other schools and in different, you know, fields and stuff. A lot of people gave up on relationships because they felt like it was interfering with school, or like, you know, they had to dedicate 100% of themselves, or other people were just like unwilling to go into relationships because of how intense it all was. And that struck me as like kind of shitty, because, you know, people, you know, many people want relationships or camaraderie or, you know, love. And I hate the idea that work prevents you from having that.
Absolutely. Because I just feel like, I mean, this like goes to like a larger issue where it's like there's so much emphasis on career, especially, you know, for me out here, you know, and just like who cares about like being late to a date, or, you know, just like not wanting to. I mean, I understand the idea of like, oh, saying no if you're feeling overwhelmed. Like, I totally get that. But also like just not prioritizing like the things that fill your heart in addition to like pursuing your passion.
100. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's like we put those we value those things at the very least, when in fact they're probably the most important and allow us to do productive things and, you know, have careers and feed into capitalism and blah blah blah. But that's a difference. That's a difference.
Absolutely. And it's like, oh god, it's like so much needs to change, and it just like feels like, oh, it feels like, I mean, maybe this is sounding negative right now. It's not negative, but so much needs to change. And it's like, oh, I'm going to make a change in my personal life. Like, that's not going to do anything. You know, is that really going to like change shit? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to start watercoloring. That'll fix the world.
Yeah. Like, that'll show them. Like,
that'll show them. No, but truly, I mean, I do understand what, like, the problems of the world do feel so overwhelming sometimes, but I try to think about it like, okay, I can't take on any of those problems unless I've taken care of my needs first. It's like, you got to charge yourself up. And
yeah,
I don't know. And I think that's like one of the things, like being neurodiverse, having mental illness, like it's really, really challenging to convince yourself that you deserve being taken care of. Because so many outside factors, and sometimes even your own brain tells you like you're not worth it, or like you're creating too much of a problem and stuff like that. And so self-care is just so crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, it, you know, it also comes into relationships, because I feel like you don't read a lot of books with neurodiverse or romances with neurodiverse characters, just because like, you know, things that are mental do affect your outlook in relationships. And so when you read a book like yours or something like The Kiss Quotient, where you see like characters having to like not only work with their mental illness, or you know, if they're on the spectrum within their jobs or, you know, their everyday life, but also having to have a relationship that also kind of like, you know, it benefits what you're going through. It's your version of like a healthy relationship is probably maybe different than a more romantic version of what that is.
You have so many needs, like that unique needs that come to the table when you're neurodiverse, or, you know, somewhere on that, in that realm. And finding a partner that's like, because it's unrealistic to expect a partner to understand, like, you know, certain mental needs that you have with a relationship, if they don't experience like a similar type of neurodiversity. But just having somebody willing to listen and learn and like, you know, be proactive with those things makes such a huge difference. actually my second book, the heroine has ADHD,
Oh,
and like
cool.
there's this
Yeah.
there's like this big conversation about like how tough relationships are, you know, when your brain is going like 100 different directions and stuff. But yeah, I think I'm excited to see a growing trend of more neurodiverse characters in romance novels. It's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, this isn't to say that like other people who may not be like have an official diagnosis like don't have anxiety, but I think that's like what is so timely about your book is that you are bringing up like there is a huge element of like anxiety in the medical field right now, to say the very least. And to like see, you know, someone struggle but then tackle it is I you know, I'm not in the medical world, but like I assume is very inspiring to
thank you. I'm glad to hear that, because I wrote this book was written pre-pandemic. It was written like in 2019. The first part of 2019, sorry. But then it went on submission with editors February 2020.
Oh, right there.
And then like I was talking to and so then March happened. I was on the phone with my therapist, and they're like, like global reports of anxiety are spiking like 200% and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, awesome. I'm sure everybody's going to want to read a book about anxiety.
Right,
like, this is like dead on arrival. So I had lost faith there for a minute. So I'm really glad to hear that you enjoyed reading about it.
Oh my God. It was like exactly what I needed, just given like I think Harper was a character that I related to more than anyone. And like a part of me is like, I wish I related to like a CIA assassin, but then it's, well, no, I'm going to relate more to like the person who, you know, just the tiniest struggles like causes this like bodily, you know, reaction.
It hurts. Anxiety hurts.
Yes.
It's physically painful.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, you are continuing to write books. It's still in the world of making dentistry sexy.
It's not. I was like, I know. So it's they didn't let me get away with that. I was attempting to write a series where they were all dentists. And they were like, we'll just stick with the one and see how that goes. Like, let's diversify your portfolio here a little bit. And I was like, okay. Which I do get. And honestly, it's been so fun escaping that a little bit.
Okay, so,
But Harper still makes guest appearances in the Friends books. And she's always there with like some really bizarre tooth fact, or like, you know, she's doing a facial reconstruction or something. So I had to keep that in there. But actually in my second book, the heroine ends up doing like this black market erotic baking scheme.
I love it.
Love it. Yeah, she focuses on the like vulvas and stuff like that. She's like, the phallic is so overdone.
Oh my God, that's so great, because you see like vulvar, you know, like I mean, just based on like the accounts that I follow, like there's so much like vulvar art and baking and stuff.
Yes, I mean, you cannot tell me that like pretty much every like croissant and tart out there doesn't mildly look like a vulva, like just a little bit.
Absolutely. So. And like whether it's intentional or like not intentional, it's just like maybe it's my brain or just like all the books that I read where it's just like, oh my God.
yeah, you can't unsee it. Like I feel like once you just like break that seal, all food becomes in one way or another like anatomical.
Absolutely. Yeah. So speaking of social media, you also have like a very popular like Bookstagram account, which I tried, but I'm just like not visual in that way. Like what made you like start this account? Because all of your pictures are like so cute and beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I I really appreciate that, because I see some stuff that people put up there and I'm like, how do you have all these props? Like the lighting, everything about it is so perfect. And I'm just like, in really weird places holding up my Kindle.
I love it.
Yeah, my boyfriend, I can't tell you how many times we've like stopped mid-walk. I'm like, I gotta take a photo. And he's like, oh my God, can we just keep going? Yeah, I actually, that's how I got really involved in the romance community, was through my Bookstagram account. And because romance was, before I started writing A Brush with Love, I was reading probably close to a romance a day that first year of dental school, because I really needed that guarantee of a happy ending. Like that was so like crucial and important to me. And so reading romance novels was just like such a balm to my anxiety. And then I was like, I didn't have anybody in my life that I could talk to and scream about it with as much as I wanted to. And then it was really random. It was like around Christmas time in 2018, and they had a bunch of like giveaways. So, and I won like 3 or 4 from different publishers. And I was like, oh my God, like I love the book community. So then I was like, I'm making a Bookstagram. And then I did. Yeah, you know, that's the natural progression of like winning free stuff. Yeah, but then it just became like so fun to just absolutely lose my shit over how much I love romance novels. Like, yeah. And everybody else is out there wanting to do it too. And then, and then there's podcasts like yours where people are screaming about it. I don't know. I think that's one of the good things about the internet, is how, like, you know, you're able to connect with people that have similar interests to you so easily. And like, they feel like real friends.
Oh my God, absolutely. Like for me, there's a disconnect because there's a part of me that's like, does your house really look like that? Like, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't get like a heart-shaped latte every day, right? Yeah. But then there's also like something so relatable to being like, oh my God, this book like made my day. And is that weird that a book made my day? But then you like see people who are like, this made my day. And you're like, yes, I'm not the only one.
Yes, I completely, like I almost get like, I don't know what, territorial about it too, where I'm like, I love this book so much, I want to like eat the pages, but then I'm like, and I want everybody to read it and love it too, but you can't love it as much as me because I love it. Like, you know?
Sure, there's like a competition there too. Like, and it's like when you're putting yourself out there and being creative, you're like, did someone take this? Like when I first started this podcast, I was like, oh my God, is there like a comedian there who like already does this? Like, did someone take my idea? Like, you know?
I know. And then on top of it too, you have like very real feelings for these characters, and you know, you're all drugged up on the love hormones and everything, and you're like, I don't know, or maybe I'm just like in too deep with it all, but I'm like, listen, there are certain characters that like I am unwilling to share, like I know that we have like in an alternate universe, we are together, we're married, we're super happy, like,
yes,
and that's
absolutely. Yeah, because it's like you're banking your whole like level of happiness whether or not these two get together. Like it's like all you care about. It's like like I just remember when like Jim and Pam were like the will they or won't they, and like the whole world was like, and I feel that way all the time. Like I feel that way all the time.
Constantly. It is just like constant, what's gonna happen? Yeah, amazing. I love romance.
Oh my God, it's so great. Well, speaking of, we got to talk about this amazing book that we read. So the book we are reviewing today is, I'm just going to say it, the wonderful Beauty and the Blacksmith by Tessa Dare, which is currently so good, $2.99. So here is a quick synopsis. The beautiful and curious Diana Highwood is finally ready to take the reins on her own life, refusing to do what's expected of her, which is to marry a rich nobleman. But even as she learns to stand on her own 2 feet, it doesn't keep her from getting swept off them by Aaron Dawes, the hunky town blacksmith who steals her heart.
I love it. That was good.
Thank you so much. So the first thing I want to talk about with this book is just because like what blew me away was Diana's character. I loved her so much. I loved her story.
Diana I would die for Diana. Like I cannot, she is such a badass. Yeah. Okay. What were your favorite parts about her?
Well, like I just loved, I mean, I know this is what like Aaron tells her, but she does it is like, there's like something badass that we see, especially for me, is like into like romantic suspense of seeing like a character, like a female character, like, and I mean this in the non kind of political way, holding a gun and like, you know, standing up for herself.
Yes.
But then like he's like, well, okay, yeah, like holding a gun is great, or having like some sort of specific pose or doing some sort of action to stand up for yourself is great, but it's really about taking the reins of your own life. Like that's what power is.
Yeah.
And that's what she does. And I was just like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was her character arc. And the fact that this is a novella too. Yes. Tessa Dare, I don't like, her brain is just a national treasure. I don't know how she does it. Like, yeah, but she created such an amazing character arc for Diana. And like, I just loved seeing her growth. And she was so determined and tenacious. And she was just like, you know what? I'm over living for everybody else. I'm going to live for me. And like, she was ready. I mean, she did exactly what she wanted to do. And she really honored herself, and it was so beautiful to see.
No. And like, as I was reading it, like, I feel like a lot of people, when I tell them I read romance and they may not necessarily like know the genre, they're like, well, is it feminist? Especially with historical romances. And I feel like when I was like, finished this book, I was like, the next time someone asks me that question, I'm going to tell them to read this book, and then they would get it.
It's so fiercely feminist, and like, and everything about it, like the way that Aaron, like, because I think it's really interesting. What was interesting about the book is like, Aaron is initially attracted to Diana because she's like drop dead gorgeous, right?
Sure.
And you know, she has this like, she has like this angelic quality to her. And he even talks about how like seeing her, you know, initially she was on this pedestal and stuff, but then he like, it transitions and he sees her as fully human, and like he sees her flaws as well as her beauty. And like, I thought that was so wonderfully done. And like, and she sees those things too. Like she, you know, recognizes her own flaws too. And like, they both are so beautifully human and flawed. And like, it just felt really real and feminist and beautiful. I can't say enough good stuff.
I know. Yeah. And like, you see her like, also like, again, given that it's a novella, you see her kind of like have her, you know, stumbles along the way, especially with like a cooking scene, because she's like, well, like what to, you know, like the two kind of decide pretty early on. They're like, we're going to be together. I know you're, you know, in the upper class. I'm in like kind of the working class. This is going to be very, very scandalous, but they're like, we're going to figure it out. And so she's just like, I don't know, should I cook? Is that what wives do? And it ends up like, it's so funny because like, it ends up being like this total disaster. But in the end, it was just like, empowering in a way of just like learning who you are.
And I loved the fact that like he found her and she was like sobbing because she just messed up cooking so badly, because who among us has not absolutely annihilated a meal that you were trying so hard on and then just broke down sobbing? Like, I thought it was so good and clever. And like, that scene was so funny because there's an eel that she's
which is cooking. Disgusting. Like, that grossed me out. I mean, I know people are into eel, but I just can't do it. And the fact that it's alive.
I know. And I love that she's like looking at this live eel and figuring out how she needs to cook it. And then she like looks out towards where Aaron's working and she's like, is this worth it? And then she's like, yeah, I guess so. Like, she has to kill an eel. Or she tries to. She doesn't manage to.
No, she doesn't. And I think what was like so comedic is that it kind of shifts back to his perspective, but then he comes back and it's like this comedic, very hilarious disaster that she caused, where it's like not just the eel, but like things are on fire, everything's a mess, and it's like, whoa, like how did you get to that point? It was like I Love Lucy or something. I loved it.
I know, yeah, like weren't his drapes were like on fire or something, I don't know, and everything was boiling over. And then he makes her an omelet. Oh my God.
No, it's not the sexiest thing. Like, it, even in like contemporary novels, like even in like A Brush with Love, like he gets up and he's like making her pancakes and you're like, nice. And then it's like in this, he's like getting up and making her an omelet. And you're like, nice.
Breakfast food daddy. Like,
exactly.
Oh, nice. I love that. Yeah. No, a man making any breakfast food, it just automatically 100 degrees hotter. Like,
yeah, absolutely. It's like, it's nice. It's just like very, one, considerate, two, How nice.
Yeah.
So there's a part in the novel where like she gets accused because like of stealing jewelry, and like
Yeah.
but she has such an infatuation for Aaron that he makes jewelry and she like keeps them and doesn't want to tell anyone because she's like, I'm in love with him but he's lower class or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they find all this jewelry and they're like, you lady thief.
And I know, and I thought like I was really having a hard time the first time I read this. I was like, how is she gonna get out of this? And like, you know, she can't say that she wasn't there like the night when everything was stolen, because she was over at Aaron's like getting some good old fashioned ass, and like and she can't say that because it would create such a scandal and everything. And yeah, that was a really like, that felt so high stakes. I was like nervous.
Yeah.
I was sweating.
Absolutely. Because I think like what Tessa Dare does so well is like the littlest missteps in this world can ruin your life. And even if it's like, oh, it's just a misunderstanding, you have a clean alibi, you're like, but that could like, that's the equivalent of like, you know, that's cancel culture in like, that is cancel culture. You know? Yeah,
truly
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the fact that she looked at to kind of the, you know, going back to like how feminist it was and stuff, you know, you were looking at how Aaron was also internalizing the idea of her being like shamed or like, you know, a tarnished woman and stuff like that. And she has to be like, hey, shut up. Like, we're in love. Get over it. We had sex. Like, everybody else is just gonna have to get over it too. And if they don't, whatever, but we still have each other. And so I thought that was super cool and empowering as hell. And I just wanted to strangle Aaron when he was like, we can't tell them. Like, dude, shut up. Oh my God, you just had sex with her on an anvil. Like,
yeah, she's like, she literally has your handprints on you. Yeah. Like, because he was like he was working and like handprints everywhere.
I was reading that and I was like, okay, I need a curated list of every Blacksmith romance ever, because that scene was just like dynamite. I was like, everybody now needs like an anvil is like the new sex swing. Like,
oh my God, yeah, because there's like a part of me that's like, did it hurt? Like, you know what I mean? Like, like, oh yeah, your back, whatever,
that's all blown out.
But you know what? They made it work.
They made it work. They definitely did.
And like, I also like love the symbolism. I mean, maybe it was a little on the nose, but I love the symbolism of like, yeah, like I was with this blacksmith. Symbolically, it's dirty, but like, look, everyone, it's dirty.
I love that too. It's like, oh, it's dirty, like in the best way possible. Yeah, I thought that was like, I thought that was super cool too, how like easily they were able to communicate like their desires and things with each other. Like, you know, Diana lacks sexual experience, but like there was not a huge learning curve for them on how to communicate with each other. Yeah. Like, obviously, it like, I thought that, and that's one of the things I loved about their relationship was how just open they were about conversations. And like, you know, they were talking about how reasons why their relationship might not work. And then they were talking about like what a future would look like or what it might not. And then the same thing, like when they decide to, you know, start having sex and stuff, like they're just really open and honest with each other. And I really appreciate that in novels. Like, you know, she wasn't just like a blushing, like shying away from the whole idea and everything.
Yeah, like they don't dance around it. And I like so many people maybe think that's what historical romances are, of like, and there are some where it's like subtext, it's like gazes, it's, you know, like they don't want to admit their you know, stations in life, but they're just like, we love each other. Fuck, we got to figure out a way to work this out, you know, and they come up with like a very intricate plan of like, I'm going to ask him and blah, 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 and I'm going to do this. And then it's like, no, they just like fall flat on their faces.
Yeah. They're like, we're doing it, whatever.
Do it like this. And it just like literally, what was so great about the plot is that like the literally worst way to tell a society that you are together happens to them.
I know. And like, I just also loved how there was so much chaos in that final scene too, because you have a rat running around. Is it okay to bring up spoilers?
Oh yeah, totally spoil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all know how it ends. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's like a rat running around. There's just massive commotion. Diana's mom's passing out like left and right. And then they both just get up on the counter. She busts open her like wrecked gown because Aaron was giving her that good dick and like on the anvil and like, and then they're like, okay, let's do it. Let's get married. And I just loved it. And it felt so happy too. And like, because there was a lot of stress and anticipation leading up to that scene. Like, are they going to actually make this work? And then, it was just like such a fun moment. I would love to have another novella of like them a couple years down the line and stuff. Like that would be so fun.
Yeah. And it's like, it would be fun. And then it would also be like interesting to kind of see how a high upper class, woman does, work things out with someone who is like working class, because like in the books it kind of just ends there. It's happily ever after, blah, blah, blah. But then it's just like I would love to see just like a day in the life of the two of them. They go out, they have to run errands or whatever they do, and just like see how everyone reacts to it and see how they get by.
That would be honestly, I just like Spindle Cove as a series is so well done. Yeah. So I would love to see that for like all the couples too. But Diana and Aaron in particular, like just really just a slice of life, like picture of what they're doing. And like I loved the scene where Aaron was playing with his nieces and nephews. And like, so I would love to see him as a dad. I was like, oh my God.
Aaron was such a fucking great character. Oh my God. Like there's a part, where she's like, her uterus got warm. And I'm like, I get that feeling.
Yeah. I get it too, dude. Yeah, we all did. What's that viral TikTok where it's like, oh, that'll make your pussy throb or something?
Yes. He was a full-on pussy throbber, that guy.
100%. I mean, from page one, he's all hot and hammering and working on jewelry, and then he's like dirty talking the metalwork too, dude. And I was like, I was dying. I was reading that on an airplane, and I was like burning up. I was like, oh, because he's like, that's it, and all that stuff. Like, oh my God, I was just absolutely losing it. And then I was like, wait, I couldn't remember, because I had read this a long time ago, and I couldn't remember how early on they finally start, fucking. And so I was like, wait, is it going to happen right now? So I was totally thrown off when she walked out and everything. But he was such a dreamboat. And then at the end too, I loved their little like wedding ceremony where, yes, she gives herself away. And I thought that was so special. And Aaron's just so proud of her for it. And I'm just like, oh, God, these two OTP status, like, honestly.
Yeah. And it was just like, at the end, that final line where they're like, who gives you away? And she's like, I do. And you just like wanted to yell out, yeah. Like, it was like the end of a sports game where your like favorite team wins.
Yes. Yeah. It made me feel like I could fly. Like, I was just so, I was so into it. Yeah.
There was one part that like, when I really loved Aaron was when, Diana's younger sister, Charlotte, is like kind of like sleuthing and figuring it out, that they're together. And like, you see Aaron's like concern about the relationship change, because it wasn't about like, oh, how is society going to view me and Diana together? Like, it's more about you, Charlotte, like your prospects for a better life are going to be at stake if we get together because of like the reputation of our family. And he has this thought of like, oh shit, I shouldn't be asking the man of the house. I need to be asking the youngest daughter of the house. And it was like, Aaron's not being so sexy.
That was such a powerful moment. That was really beautiful. And like, what I also liked about that too is I feel like a lot of times when there's like the class difference trope and stuff like that, there's, it sets it up for a lot of miscommunication or like assuming that your partner will be resentful for the class change or things like that. But what was so great is like Aaron never experienced that. Like, he trusted that Diana knew her own mind, which was like a big theme throughout. And so, that was so powerful when he was like, because it showed that he was like trusting Diana to know that like, this is what she wants, but then also respecting Charlotte and like, you know, honoring her experiences and stuff and like what she's beholden to in this very class structured society and everything. And Charlotte's such a fun character.
I love her. She's so sweet. I think what was like also so great is that like you don't often in life and in media and culture see a male character really, really put himself in a woman's shoes and really, really think, what is it like to be her? I feel like he's just like, oh, I'm going to get the woman I love and it's going to be great. And then it's like, oh, wait, what would be the consequences for her? And I think empathy is like the sexiest thing.
Oh my God. Yeah. Empathy and then competency porn. Like those two. Like
yes. Yeah.
And then the third is making breakfast food. Like those are the top. That's the holy trinity of like hot romance heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you know, I feel like that worked really well, especially because he was working class too. Yeah. Like, I think when you're reading historical romances where you're dealing with a duke or an earl or things like that, like there is that disconnect because they bring so much privilege to the table. But like Aaron being working class, I think it did allow him to be so empathetic to it and really think things through and everything. And then they're both like, love's worth it.
Yeah, I know. You're like, peace out. Yeah. Because like what was so great is that like you would assume that like Aaron would just like, I guess like maybe it's like an assumption on my part, which is bad, but like you just assume, oh, if you're lower class, you must resent the upper class, you know, and you're like expecting him to be like you and your hoity-toity.
Yeah. And you see that so much with the trope and like other, you know, there's like, I think that's why it's a lot of times enemies to lovers too, because there is that resentment. Yeah. So that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. He really did like see the struggle, like everyone has struggles. And I think him being able to kind of acknowledge that and see that is admirable and hot. I mean, everything he does is hot, but also
so hot.
Yeah.
I mean, people, his eyes are the size of tree trunks. Like, I mean, that's emphasized multiple times. And like,
yes. And like her first thought was like what did she say? His wrists are the size of her ankles.
Yeah. And I had to like think about that for a while.
Same.
And then I was like, okay. But on the other hand, I was like, I could see her having really dainty ankles. So I was like, is that impressive? And then I was like,
totally. Yeah. Because then I was like looking at my wrists and my ankles and I was like, okay, maybe. And then I was like, oh yeah, like hands are hot, like hands are very sensual. So I was like, oh, it was a hands thing, maybe, you know, like maybe
I was like, whatever, he's huge. Like he's huge. He's huge, he's hot, he's a blacksmith, he makes their jewelry. He's like
muscular as fuck. Like, oh my God.
Takes his shirt off all the time.
Yeah. It's so great. Yeah.
And I also I loved how okay, again, this is like a competency porn thing, but I loved that his little cottage was so like clean and well stocked and like he knows how to take care of himself. I was like, oh, God bless you, Aaron. Like you are just so perfect.
Yeah, because I feel like there's like other things where it's like you don't wash your dishes, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, he's like he knows how to, like, he doesn't need a wife. Like I know someone says that at one point and it was like what? But like he really doesn't need like both of them don't need each other, but they want each other. And I think that's like what was so like refreshing about this book.
Yeah, I completely, yes, that's the perfect way to sum it up. Like they were just two people that really wanted to be with each other. And there was like no other needs about it. Oh, that's such a good way to sum it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was your favorite sexy meal? I mean, I loved all of them, but like what was your favorite?
That's such a it's gonna be the anvil. And well, okay, it's the specific part of the anvil where, because initially he's not touching her with his hands because his hands are really dirty and she's wearing her pretty blue frock or whatever.
Yeah.
But then but he's like had this fantasy over and over again about like having sex with her on the anvil. And then he realizes that she has also had that same fantasy, and she like wants him to touch her and get her dirty and everything. And then after that, like that was the moment where it was like, it's fucking on, and like they just go, you know. And I just like, it was so like, because it did, you know, it wasn't like massive, it wasn't like Tessa Bailey level dirty talk or anything like that, but they were like, you know, going there a little bit, and like, you know, and they were letting it be messy, and like I just loved that. And I was like, that's so perfect for them, because they both have been living like with all this restraint and everything, and then they just finally let go, and then he picks her off the freaking anvil and just like goes to town. Oh my god,
it was so hot. Like, you know, it's like thinking about it is like the sex scenes were like so symbolic of their lives in a way. In like, I mean, yeah, like, you know, sex brings people together, that moves the plot along, but like here it was just like, it felt like, oh, like your fucking is also like resembling your living.
Yes. Yeah. It gave me so much hope for them to have just a really long and prosperous sex life. Like, you know, have you ever left a sex scene hopeful? Like, oh, okay, they're going to be able to maintain it. Like,
oh yeah. Like, because you're thinking like, oh yeah. Like, I mean, I guess I feel that way with like a lot of books where it's like, you're not going to have a problem, but like 100%, I'm like, oh, these two,
they're gonna be like spicy forever, and I love that for them. Like, I'm just so happy for them. I'm just really, really proud of them.
They were just like, you're rooting for them, and just in the end, you're just like, good for them.
Good for them. Yeah. And then I thought their first time also was like super tender and like lovely, and like, you know, and Aaron is his little inner monologue where he's like so super nervous and stuff like that. He wanted to make it good for her. I loved that, and I thought that was so touching, and so him. And just so true to his character. And then I loved too where she was like, because she was like, where it hurt at first, because, you know, Aaron's packing, and
of course,
tree trunk, you know, but she's like, because it was hurting at first, and then she's like, and then it started to not hurt, and she's like, I wasn't gonna come again, but like I could at least enjoy it. And I just like, she's like so game for everything, because she just like really loves who he is as a person, and like his lifestyle. Like, she's just ready, and their moments together were so touching.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm gonna ask for a final rating.
Okay.
One piece of handmade jewelry is the worst. 10 out of 10 pieces of handmade jewelry is the best. What is your overall rating?
Oh, it was a 10 for me.
Same here. It was an 11. I was like, everything about this book is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't change anything. It was like, it was low angst, just enough like, you know, tension or like stakes to keep the plot going. And you just felt good. Like, I never felt bad reading this book, you know?
It was just like, again, like kind of like going back to like what we were talking about earlier. If you need a pick me up, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling anxious, and you just need to read something that's just like where shit works out. Like, I think this is the book to do it.
It really is. Like, it is so, it was a hug. It was like, I feel like a lot of Tessa's books, like, okay, certain romances are like eating really rich and decadent chocolate cake, you know, like Lisa Kleypas is a lot like that. But then Tessa Dare is just like lemon sorbet, where it's just like bright and fuzzy and like wonderful, and makes you just like excited. It makes you feel like sunshine, and this is no exception.
It's like a palate cleanser, you know. It's an emotional palate cleanser.
And with some really decent banging.
And it's such a short book, but it was just like tense. And even in the first scene where he's like making the stuff, like that was, you know, it was very, very hot, and there wasn't even any like loving.
I know. They weren't even touching. They weren't even talking. He was just like working the jewelry, and I was just like, oh my god. And then for like when he almost like finger bangs are in the
in the
wagon
carriage.
and stuff. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, why is that so hot? Like,
yeah, it was so hot, and like I was like getting so into it, and they're getting into it, and then they realized, oh, Charlotte's asleep in the back, and then I was like, oh yeah, Charlotte's asleep in the back.
Charlotte, yeah, but again, 10 handmade gold pieces of jewelry out of 10 because it was just like funny and tender and sexy and perfect. And I loved it.
I loved it. Well, Mazey, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited for everyone to read Brush with Love. When does it come out?
It comes out March 1st, 2022. So we still got some time.
Still got some time, but guys, is it once it's available for pre-order it, folks. It
is available for pre-order, and
okay,
it's
guys,
up on NetGalley. And yeah, and then if you can also, I think, email or I probably shouldn't say that, but yeah. No, never mind. But yeah, thank you. So
yeah, I'm so excited for everyone to read it. And where can we follow you? Like, what is your Bookstagram account?
My Bookstagram account is just like the most tongue-tied thing to say, but it's at Romance in the Wild, but there's a period between every word, so it's romance.in.the.wild. And then sometimes I do stuff on Twitter, and that's Foxy Grandpa 027.
Wait, say it again. I was laughing because you said Foxy Grandpa.
It's Foxy Grandpa 027.
Great.
And I think that's my TikTok handle too. So you know, just the epitome of a professional woman.
Too Stupid to Live is part of the Frolic Podcast Network. It includes so many great podcasts, including this one.
Relationship on the Rocks?
Crushing on your best friend.
Not sure how to tell your partner a secret? Ask people who write happily ever afters for a living. Dear Romance Writer is an advice podcast by romance authors
Zio Axelrod,
Avery Flynn, and
Rowan Parrish.
Are we formally trained?
Nope.
Successful in love?
Sometimes.
But we've written over 50 romance novels.
Join us and special guests as we answer all your questions about romance, relationships, and love.
For more podcasts you'll love, visit frolic.media/podcasts. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great rest of your day.